Welcome back to the Floor 9 podcast. Today's podcast is themed about 70s and retros. Today we have Lucas with me.
What's good, and my special friend
Jack, that's me. Thanks for saying my name, Lucas.
Yeah.
Great to be here, guys.
So this theme, like I said, is 70s, but real quick, we want to get a disclaimer out of the way. You're currently listening to Suffolk Free Radio Podcast. The views and opinions expressed on Floor 9 Podcast are the views and opinions of the podcast personalities only, and do not reflect these of Suffolk University, Suffolk Free Radio, or those at the Student Leadership and Involvement Office as well. So to get things started off, we're getting 70s theme, but first we want to get a quick sports recap. Obviously the Patriots going on and just marching on. What do you guys think of that? We're still undefeated.
I know. I think, obviously, we're still at the top in the NFL. Best defense by far. I mean, we average, I don't know if anyone's into fantasy, but we average 20 fantasy points. That would be like a wide receiver 1 or RB1's fantasy value, but that's our defensive value, which is crazy. Absolutely steamrolled the Redskins. It was crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. I didn't play fantasy this year, but when I used to, I always picked the same defense, the Texans defense. One year they got me 20 points, and now they're at 6 points, and now the Patriots are getting 20 points. It's ridiculous compared to other ones, obviously.
Yeah, a big part of the actually I know a little about this. The Texans defense, they lost. Do you guys know Jadeveon Clowney? He plays for the Seahawks now, but he was a first overall pick actually, one of the few good first overall picks that was on the defensive side. I believe he's a defensive end, but now that he's on the Seahawks, their defense is looking much better, and that's one of the main reasons why they're 5-1 and at the top of the NFC West, I believe. Yeah.
I just think in general that defense, people say defense win games. Real quick, let me go check something. Sorry, we just got a quick newsletter, but yeah. Like I was saying, but we're going to move on because we don't want to spend the whole time talking about sports. We're going to go into the Moonwalk segment, and we're talking about 70s. One thing when I was thinking about 70s is shag carpets. What the heck is that?
Shag carpets.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Do you know what a shag carpet is?
Yeah.
But what
I
the
don't
heck?
see the point. You can't vacuum one.
They look ugly. You can't vacuum.
Yeah, but it was the 70s. It was a trend.
But
I don't know.
Bad trend. What trends do we have that?
We have modern kitchens. If you think about it, everybody likes stainless steel and things that look trendy. Yeah, literally.
Why would you need 3 ovens?
It's kind of futuristic, to be honest, because they have touchscreen refrigerators and all these new technology things. the Roomba.
Roomba.
Yeah.
You ever see? There's a video out right now where 2 Roombas are fighting each other. You guys ever seen that?
Dude, I wish we weren't.
That.
That's probably funny.
So what they did is they put a balloon at the end of the Roomba. In the front of it, they put tons of toothpicks, the long skewer ones.
I did see this actually. Yeah, I think there were some razor blades on there too, and then the Roombas would go in random directions, and everyone was cheering him on. He's like, "Go, go, go!" And then he popped the balloon. Everyone just freaked out. It's a great video.
It was so funny because they named one of the Roombas Kevin, and so everyone was like, "Kevin, no, Kevin." He was sorry. And there's there's an Instagram video that's that's a small video, but there's a YouTube one.
Patrick. Kevin.
What do you do?
Does it sound like Patrick?
Yes.
No, this is Patrick. Say, is this a Krusty Krab?
Is this the Krusty Krab?
No, this is Patrick. No, this is Patrick. See? This is Patrick!
Oh, the Krusty Krab pizza is the pizza for you and me.
I still don't have my voice.
Yeah, Lucas is recovering because he kind of was dying. And do you want to describe that a little bit? Talk about it?
Wash your hands if you take the tea. Pocket hand sanitizer is only $1.29 at your local CVS. It really helps.
You always gotta plug in a small sponsorship. Last time you were here, you plugged in what do you call it, Ticketmaster, Ticket Stubs, or something like that.
Oh yeah.
And now you
shout out to the Suffolk SLI desk, bro. Got some UFC tickets.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna get some Celtics tickets from the SLI desk. Hopefully they're pretty cheap. Get some good seats. I'm a big
Yes,
Celtics
sir.
fan. Hopefully Luke gets to go with me, right?
Yeah.
That'd be huge, actually.
So you have this on record now, so whenever you had to, if Lucas bails on you, you can pull this up.
Oh, yeah, I got
I would
the
never,
evidence.
I would never bail in a Celtics game.
Can't plead the fifth on me, pal.
Hell no.
But what about Bruins games? I feel like I've never been to either, but I feel like first game, I'd rather go to Bruins because it's just I don't know. It's more like the crowd's more alive. I feel sometimes.
Yeah, I've been to a couple Bruins games, and there's definitely a large atmosphere there. I mean, any game at the TD Garden is like very loud and very into the game. You know, have you ever been to a game at the TD Garden or any sort of event?
Nah, I haven't been to any. I mainly go to Sox because I grew up around the Sox and everything.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
But it's kind of funny because like I said, the UFC fights in the TD Garden. That's gonna be hype.
Yeah, that is gonna be really hype.
And it's a local guy, I believe, from Tewksbury. It's somewhere local with a T, but it's gonna be such a good fight in my opinion. But going back to we always go off track from the '70s theme or like whatever theme we have. But going back on the '70s, when I think back to '70s, like we all have our phones. Like right now, Lucas is on his phone.
No, I'm not.
But we always
Snapchat.
we always go on our phone and stuff to call people, and we have phone numbers. But in the '70s, if you wanted to call someone, no one had like a portable phone. Well, some people did.
Haha,
But
your
I
Suffolk
think so.
Senator is at a Bruins game right now. JD, what? Snap.
Why do we always go off track?
What?
It's JD's at the Senators. Who's winning right now? The Bruins.
I don't know.
Oh, are
I'm
they
gonna look
playing
it up.
tonight?
Yeah, they're playing right now.
Oh, shnikey.
But besides the point, if you wanted to call someone, you had to get their home phone number, and you only can call the home one time, so you can't have multiple people on the phone and stuff. It's a pain. We grew up with phone numbers and everything, and like living in them where we can talk and communicate is such an easy thing.
Yeah, and definitely like the 70s, you had to like memorize phone numbers. And if you ever watch like old TV shows that are set in this like 60s, 70s, even 80s until probably 80s, you actually had to memorize everyone's phone number. Like you'd know like a couple people's like phone numbers by heart, but otherwise you have to like look in like a phone number book or something. I don't even know.
Dude, it was bad. Like for example, back then, if you were gonna ask pretend you were going to ask a girl out on a date or say, hey, you want to go on a date? They would have to give you a phone number. And imagine if you forget that phone number. Pretend you didn't have a pen on your right
That'd be terrible.
So you come up, you ask us, yeah, do you have my phone number? They tell you the phone number, and you just completely forget it.
Yeah.
Like nowadays, we can just hold up a Snapchat to a window, and then 5 people are at it.
Exactly. Oh
Yes, sir.
Things have changed so much. And like, oh my god, if we lived in the 70s or like if cell phones were like taken away now, like I couldn't call my little brother because I don't know my little brother's phone number. So I would either have to write it down or just, I don't know, I'd be screwed.
Dude, even my home phone number is fading in my memory. The only ones I have is just my parents because like I used to have to like dial on like randomly and stuff. But it just like you should always know at least like some emergency contact number at all times. But besides that, like
911.
how many people do you actually like? How many people are necessary to know their number? No one. Like you have everything is digital. Like if you want to really find someone's number, you could even.
I mean,
Google
that's
it.
when you can find people in a phone book. Now it's kind of hard.
You can just Google it.
Yeah, now you can just Google it. That's a major.
Google what their number is?
Yeah.
Improvement.
If you have someone's first name and last name, and you know what district or town they're in, you can find the phone number so fast.
I bet you could, yeah. I've never tried it, but...
But like you can even track license. Like so, okay. So hypothetically saying, if you wanted to, it is illegal, but you can track license plates using like other websites and stuff.
What the heck?
So can you imagine that you're just driving by, someone looks up your license plate and they have all the information on you?
Yeah, you can go to like Mass RMV and just like type in the license plate of any car you see and you'll get like a lot of their personal information.
Well, you can't even do it now because they banned it because this whole case of someone like stalking.
Oh,
but
yeah.
I'm saying
it
like
makes sense.
on the
That probably, yeah, that
It's a
definitely
breach
makes
of
sense.
privacy.
yeah, but I'm
Huge.
saying like there's websites out there that gets around it. And I don't know how. And it just builds. I think it's because they just build up a database over time because they can build up a database. Nothing is.
That happened to my mom. She was like, she got a parking ticket, and she was at work when she got the parking ticket, and she commutes. So like, someone copied her plates and like got a ticket with them. It was crazy.
Wait a second. If your mom has to commute because like she doesn't live at work.
She commutes from home.
Yeah.
Her car was at home.
Yes.
She got a ticket
Yes.
for parking.
Yes. Never mind.
What do you?
So wait, so the ticket did it like come in the mail, right?
Yeah, like,
So, like,
and she was
someone-
like,
so-
"Wow, I wasn't even out. Like, I wasn't
so
here."
some random person was parked illegally somewhere, and then
They had her plates. Like
What,
they
like-
copied. I don't know.
I don't even get. Oh my god,
That's like how it happened. They said,
that sounds really sus, actually.
dude, it's a. I mean, that kind of connects to what you were saying, bro. Like about how people can like look up your stuff.
The world is so like weird. Like for example, my roommate is from Vietnam, and okay, this sounds weird and everything.
Baby.
Not.
Shout out to Not Lou.
Shout out not.
But
But.
so okay, so I never knew anyone from Vietnam before. I've never spoken any Vietnamese, and
Never eaten a duck before.
never eaten a duck or the chicken
Or
feet.
chicken feet. Yep.
Oh,
Or
I got a good story about that, but you keep on
Yeah.
going.
So I've never like anything related to Vietnam or anything like that. But for example, when I would get a telemarketer, it would be someone in English saying, "Oh, I'm from Dallas" or something like that. And ever since I was with like rooming with Na, now when I get like telemarketers, it's in Vietnamese, and I'm like I had to call Not and like help him translate it because like I'm not gonna lie, I answer some telemarketers because it's kind of entertaining to like mess with them, but it's so weird because I don't know anyone like. I don't know why they're from Vietnam yelling at me, so I'm yelling them back in Vietnamese, and he's translating for me, and it's just a whole ordeal. But what were you gonna
I
say?
just zoned down.
Oh,
Oh,
that's good.
about chicken feet. I actually have eaten chicken feet before. I'm actually from the city of Boston. I've been here like my entire life. So one day, me and my friends were all in Chinatown, and then we all decided just to buy like a whole chicken from like a Chinese like grocery store, like a fully cooked chicken. And one of my friends was like, "Oh, eat the leg." I'm like, "Oh, okay, I guess." And I ate the leg, and he's like, "Oh, you didn't finish it." I'm like, "What do you mean I didn't finish it?" He's like, "There's still some on the feet." I'm like, "I'm not eating chicken feet, bro." But then my friend just made me do it, so I had eaten chicken feet before.
It's weird because when I ate it, they marinated it, so it's like orange chicken kind of. It was very sweet. It tasted just like the skin of the chicken. It like, I don't recommend it.
Yeah, it's pretty gross.
I don't recommend it.
Yeah,
Duck,
that's why I didn't try it.
duck. I don't either. I hate to say, but I don't recommend either.
No.
Just
Because-
duck in general.
It's just because I feel like you can season it better. Maybe that one place was bad one, but just a plain roasted duck, no. You gotta season everything in life. If you don't season it, it's just bland.
Can't have a flavorless life, you know.
Oh, they had
Spicy,
such
man.
good barbecue chicken today at the Calf. Barbecue chicken. If you can, all right. The secret to any good barbecue recipe is have a sweet aftertaste to it. If you make something just all tart or like too strong, no. But you just want a light sweet aftertaste, and you can make such good barbecue like anything if you add that.
Dude, we should do our podcast on a Tuesday so we can say, it's Taco Tuesday.
Oh my god, did you guys see that shirt that Barstool made for LeBron? So LeBron, if you don't know,
I don't
he
get
came
why
after, I think it was Houston's general manager for tweeting about the Chinese communist regime. But anyway, LeBron said like to the like general manager on Twitter, he's like, "Oh, you shouldn't say that." And Barstool kind of took it as like denouncing free speech. So they made a T-shirt. It's like a framed picture of Chairman Mao, but instead of Mao's face, it's LeBron's face. It's actually pretty funny. It's one of the best Barstool shirts I've seen.
Barstool has been on a fire recently. Like, do you say they had a NASCAR? They had their own car in the thing.
Do they actually?
They had one, and it was doing good up to. They had 3 laps left, I believe, and it spun out. It had a huge crash and everything, but it's kind of funny because it was a red car. They had like one bite on the side, and everyone knows, and they had the Barstool logo, and it was doing good too. They were doing good until it crashed and everything, but so many cars had to pile up there.
I feel like it's the only reason why a lot of people watch NASCAR, just so like a crash might happen.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the
100%.
crash is like, you know, you hate to see it, but at the same time, it's kind of fun.
When I so we had a fair recently back in my hometown, and it was like first of all, everything there was like 70s and retro theme in my opinion. It looked like you were coming out of Stranger Things in my opinion. But they also had a demo derby there, and the demo derby was unbelievable in my opinion. They were just going to town, and I only was there for like a small portion of it. But legit, 5 seconds in, you got 4 cars on fire basically. Everything's tipped over. It's chaotic, but it's amazing. You guys ever been to a demo derby or anything like that?
Yeah, they're pretty cool.
I've been to like a monster truck thing. That's pretty cool.
I've seen like the dudes like they professionally like wreck the cars, and it's honestly like I don't know. I feel like I would be scared. Like whoa, like there's some person like that's about to plow my car.
Yeah. But I feel like those guys have been driving
Yeah,
since they
they-
were like 6. Like their dad,
They're like, yeah, all
just
right,
drinking a
bro.
beer in the porch. Like, yeah, just parking in real nice, you know. Go ahead. You're 6. You're a man now.
Dude, you know what's funny? I saw there was so I went to the Dragway around here, and in Dragway you can legit anyone can drive at the age of 16. So if you're 16, you can drive a car.
That's
Wow.
crazy.
And this kid was 16, and he won his first race because he was unbelievable driver, but like, so we thought, like, for example, they finished the race and everything, and you know how they do a winner's lap or something, and they go in the middle. So I'm like, oh, it's probably some old timer or something. But no, a 16-year-old comes out of his car and just pops up and starts just talking and stuff. I'm like, oh, damn. But back to the fair. I want to talk about the fair a little bit because I think that more towns need to have events like that. It shouldn't be like a one-time thing in the fall. Because fairs just like, it brings back good values and stuff. People get away from the electronics. They go out. They have like over expensive food. They go on like rides together. It's just a good like bonding thing, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's also like, you ever see those like games at fairs? It's like knock down all the bottles with like the sack, or like put like the ring around the bottle, things like that. I think it's like a good like substitute for like just like doing stupid things on your phone. Just like doing something with like your hands and like, you know, actually engaging with like people around you. It's a good thing. There's actually like a fair around here. It's called the Marshfield Fair. I don't know if any of you've ever heard of that. Maybe you, Lucas? No?
No, I've never heard of the Marsh.
Well, Marshfield's like, it's like half an hour from Boston, but they have a fair every year. I think it's like a 150-year-old tradition now. I think they just had like their 153rd one. Yeah, it's been going for a long time, but
Yeah, see, we go to the Topsfield Fair because that's like where we're from and stuff.
yeah.
But it's just like when I went to the fair, for example, I spent $60 and I won, I say, a good $10 worth of stuffed animals. But it was worth it though because I won in like at least 4 games.
Nice.
I did 10 attempts, but 4 out of 10 for carnival games. I think that's a good ratio.
Yeah. You had a good time, right?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
My favorite one was the one where this was a new one. I didn't know they did this, but they give you a crossbow and basically you just had to hit the target with a crossbow.
Really?
Dude. First try, I realized that I'm aiming way too high. Second try, dead on. Everyone just was like, what the heck? Why does this guy know how to shoot a crossbow? And I'm like, I don't know.
It's in the blood.
It's
oh
in
my god.
the hunting blood.
I would love to shoot a crossbow.
You know,
Sorry.
Oh, sorry. It's just weird, like, because you usually, the way you aim is you gotta, like, account for where the sight is and where the arrow is and stuff.
Oh, okay.
Because where your sight is not where it's gonna go. You gotta think where the arrow's gonna land. And because it was such short distance, it's not going to drop at all. So you got to like aim lower because it's complicated. It's more like you take a shot and you readjust to like where the shot lasted. But like you were saying,
What was I going to say?
crossbows, shooting fun.
I don't know. I think I just forgot what I was going to say. But I think to your point about like the sights, like I feel like gun sights, it like doesn't actually like, the bullet doesn't actually go exactly where like the crosshairs are aimed at, unless it's like an iron sight. I don't know a lot about guns.
Not even. I used to go airsofting quite a bit, and I know it's not the same as firing a firearm.
Yeah.
But your sight, for example, does not go exactly where you aim.
No.
For me, for example, when I did airsofting, everyone hated it, but I would be a speed softer. I would legit go in. Everyone would be decked out with full military gear, tactical, everything. They have headphones on where they can hear a mile away, and I would legit go in jeans. I have knee pads, and I would have 2 pistols. And everyone would take, like, for example, 10 seconds to, like, clear a corner. I would legit just power slide past them and just get them.
Wow.
But it's all about, like, it's so weird, because people get so pissed at you saying, oh, you won't do that in real life. I'm like, this isn't real life. This is just me going to an airsoft event and legit just having fun. Like, you shouldn't take everything so serious when there's no need to be. Like, you gotta learn to relax and, like, live.
Yeah, I used to have a couple of airsoft guns. Like, you ever have the gas ones? Those are the ones you have, right? Yeah, I had the gas ones. And me and my brother would, like, set up, like, kind of, like, barriers in our front yard, and we just, like, shoot at each other. It was good fun.
Oh, the good old days. I remember going around, like, my neighborhood and stuff, and just, like, legit, we would just play manhunt, but, like, we would go to someone's backyard and play with airsoft guns. Obviously, we had face gear and stuff. We would wear, like, a winter sweatshirt or something, so it doesn't hurt, but I miss those days when you could just go around just having fun and, like, no one cares.
Yeah.
If you did airsoft in your backyard nowadays, I know it was, like, back then for me wasn't that long, but still, nowadays, if I went airsofting, someone would call the cops on us thinking we're, like, trying to hurt each other.
Yeah, I feel like it would be like that now, but I have good neighbors, and they kind of knew what we were doing. Like, they knew that we're not, like, thugs, like, shooting, like, real guns at each other, obviously, and we're not, like, hurting anyone, well, except ourselves. If you shoot, like, a soft spot, like, I got shot in the neck once. That was really bad. I had, like, a face mask, but I was running, like, to the side, and, like, the side of my neck was exposed, and he nailed me right in the neck. My older brother, Tom, by the way, that's who I used to airsoft with.
See, the funny thing is, airsofting, it doesn't, like, it leaves a small little, like, thingy, like, a little welt or something.
Bruise, yeah.
A little bruise, not that bad. my last time, I still have a scar from right here. It's healing a little better. It's been like a month and it's still on my arm. Because I took a grenade shell right to the arm from about 2 feet away.
Oh, I'd heard about those. What is it like? What happens when like one of those goes off?
So what it does basically is, think of it like this. It's like, it looks like an average like grenade shell you put underneath a gun. But when you shoot it, it pushes. So basically, imagine 150 BBs inside a small little capsule with high pressure CO2. So it shoots 10 feet forward and it shoots 150 of them. And if you're like, if you're a good distance, like if you're more than like 10 or 15 feet, you're fine. But when you're between 3 and 5 feet point blank range, when a guy panics and uses it, then that's going to leave some serious damage. Because it's not like, when you get hit with airsoft, usually they shoot once, you're good. But with 150 from that range with the CO2 pressure, it's awful in my opinion.
Yeah.
It's like a bugger.
Sounds terrible.
We actually had one guy, I believe it was a Russian guy, and we called the game mode Juggernaut. And it was this big guy, and he would come in with the classic LMG. I don't know if any of you played Rainbow Six Siege.
My brother plays that, but I'm like familiar with it. Yeah.
There's a guy named Tachanka, and he has an LMG turret, and he has like a drum mag on top.
Oh, really?
But basically, that's what it is. He has a giant old wooden, like, it looks like wooden frame LMG with a drum mag on top. And this is how it works. So it's team deathmatch, there's 2 teams, and there's a Juggernaut in the middle. Obviously, you try to eliminate the enemy team, and you have a certain amount of lives. Like, each of you have, like, a certain amount of lives, and then you're out. But here's the trick. If you can hit the Juggernaut in the head or something like... No, if you had to get up to the Juggernaut and knife him, quote-unquote, or just tag him. If you tag him, he goes on your team for a certain amount of time, and basically, he goes on your team for a certain amount of time. But once he's out, he stands still, and that's when the enemy team can get him, or you can defend him and keep doing it. But if no one tags him, he goes berserk, where basically he's running around the map with a giant LMG. He's 6'5".
The
Juggernaut. And he just shoots everyone, and it's not like you get hit once and you're out. He keeps shooting until he feels satisfied.
Jeez.
But in my opinion, it was so much fun. I've seen videos of it, and I want to try it so bad.
So this is on Rainbow Siege 6?
No, this is Juggernaut in like real life in airsoft.
Oh, this is an airsoft thing. Oh,
yeah.
That's crazy.
He's a giant ass guy in my opinion, but we keep getting sidetracked. We really want to talk about 70s, but we keep going on random thoughts. But next thing about 70s we're talking about is, you know what's the weirdest thing? Ronald Reagan.
Ronald Reagan, huh?
He resigned. He was the only president that's ever resigned.
Well, I mean, Nixon resigned.
Is it Nixon or Reagan?
No, it was Nixon that resigned.
Nixon, not Reagan. My bad.
Reagan did not resign.
Reagan. Nixon, my bad. Because Nixon ended the Vietnam War. I'm sorry, I had my notes wrong. But Nixon, because it was after the Vietnam War, he resigned. Because he was facing impeachment.
Yeah, whole Watergate thing.
That was a huge, like, that's ridiculous. Like, Nixon... Yeah, it's Nixon, not Reagan.
Yeah, a lot of people. Yeah, he lied a lot, and that's why he kind of.
There's so many memes on him though, and like videos on him with and Futurama. If any of you watch Futurama.
Oh yeah.
It's so funny because they preserved his head, and like he's always in like some season.
Oh, stuff. Nixon, right? Yeah,
Nixon.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, Nixon's always got some kooky things to say in that show.
Well, Lucas, what do you think of this? You've been quiet recently.
About what?
Everything. Just speak, my guy.
Speak, my guy. I don't know. I kind of can't speak. It hurts still.
Oh, it still hurts?
Kind of. I mean...
How was your PB&J you had before the session started?
It was actually really good. Best thing I've eaten there.
Peanut butter and jelly. Best thing to have at a cap. What about the chicken, though? The buffalo chicken?
Oh, dude. The barbecue was so good today. Oh, my God.
Now, they know how to make it right.
Yeah.
And they had a nice cornbread. Ooh, if you fuck up cornbread...
Oh! Edit.
We got a disclaimer. We have a disclaimer. We can say it one time. So as long as we don't say it any more times, we're fine.
Yeah.
But if you screw up cornbread, you screwed up life because it's so hard to mess up cornbread. It's such a simple thing. But yeah, we can swear one time, like one bad swear. So knock on wood. Hopefully we're fine.
Yeah.
There's no wood.
There's no wood around here, mate. That's a wall.
FCC is gonna knock down the door next time you swear.
Oh boy.
FCC can't let me be. That's a song.
You ever see that FCC song on Family Guy? I think it's one of their best songs. It's like one of the earlier seasons, but oh my god, do you guys watch Family Guy or no?
Nah. Well, actually, yeah, I started watching it recently.
It's actually really funny.
Yeah.
But it's the new seasons aren't that good because now they've been monetized so much. They can't make so many. They can't like the jokes. If you look at season 1, would never be aired in the new season because they're just like they're not allowed.
Oh
Nowadays.
no, they make fun of like the intellectually disabled and like things that you just really can't touch in
Yeah.
TV anymore.
Like they're not allowed. Like for example, they would make fun of religion. They would make fun of gender. They would make fun of everything. Celebrities, government, all that stuff, and they can't. They can't do it. And don't get me wrong. I'm not saying like it's good to talk like make fun of that stuff. But back then, I'm saying on TV when they know it's like a joking matter,
Yeah.
then they would do it. But nowadays you get like they will get kicked off air and everything.
I feel like you can still make fun of celebrities though. I feel like that's a one
Oh,
thing that
yeah.
they can still
Yeah,
do.
but no,
That's,
but-
people do that all the time.
No, but certain celebrities like you can't meet like government celebrities. I'm saying.
like
Is
what,
that-
the president?
Even the president or other countries, they get upset.
Dude, they just made an episode where they make fun of Trump.
Really?
Yeah, it was like a season or 2 ago.
But remember,
It's called like Trump Guy.
you remember the interview, the movie
Yeah, with
Yeah.
Seth Rogen.
with Seth Rogen?
Yeah.
So that movie, they were getting a lot of trouble with.
Oh,
North Korea.
international.
Yeah,
Nationally,
that's like a whole nother. That's a foreign communist leader who is on the brink of,
Going cuckoo.
Yeah, and he's also like on
But
bend
the-
to destroy the world.
But the U.S. was
Oppresses
like
people.
they didn't like him either. It's just so bad, like how they oppress everything. And don't get me wrong, I don't know everything about communism. I don't know everything about them. I don't want to say all this stuff without any factual evidence, but I just believe that it's not right. They should have freedom to say
No.
what they want and not worry about some like guy in a full like black suit knocking on your door taking you away.
Yeah. The way that I think of communism is like I took economics senior year and we had this like sign in the room. It was like E-Cownomics where it put like all these like different economic systems into like terms of like cows. And the one for communism was like if you have 2 cows, the government takes away your 2 cows and gives you like a gallon of milk. Like that's communism to me. It's like you don't even have like freedom over yourself or the things you possess.
Better be one good gallon of milk, dude.
Yeah, I know it better
Yeah.
be worth 2 damn cows.
We keep getting sidetracked. So I'm like, okay, we have a set theme. We're gonna talk about it. We're gonna talk about 70s and like be happy about the 70s and like remnants or whatever in the 70s. We always get sidetracked. I think that's what we call a moonwalk because we just like hover and like float to whatever we feel like. But one last 70s theme before we like close up the 70s ideas. You know what's the weirdest thing? If you go on TV right now, you can find a channel. There's a million channels. You can find
Yeah.
anything you want. Back then, TV would go off air at nighttime. Like, imagine that being today. At a certain set time, TV shuts off.
Yeah, kind of. And then you ever seen like the Poltergeist where it's like the American flag and like the national anthem, and
Yeah.
there's like the screen just goes to static. Like that's how it used to be. Like programs wouldn't just run 24/7 like they do now. Especially like news. Like news is like
On loop now.
it's like minute by minute now. Like everything that comes out that's important in the world like will be on the news almost immediately or as soon as it's found out. Not like in like a news cycle like the way the world and like the news used to be.
It's just, I feel like they could also bring that back nowadays on purpose. Like back then they did it because they didn't have enough content, in my opinion.
Mm.
And they didn't have enough equipment, and it was just a pain to upload stuff. But if what they did today, they could like, I think if they bring back today, say for example, a certain amount of time, it could like be like family hour or whatever, where they shut off the TV and try to disconnect. Lucas is dancing right now.
No, I'm not.
Sums up Lucas every time I ask Lucas a question. No, I'm not. You're just chilling, Lucas.
Yeah.
Taking it easy. Your throat hurts.
Bruh. Like I said, wash your hands.
Make sure you go to CVS and get your
No,
dog 20
I don't even care.
Boston is just a disgusting place, especially in the city. All you folks who live in dorms at Suffolk, yeah, you really need to be careful.
You know what's weird though? We have a pretty clean city compared to others. Like if you go to China or anything like that,
China's disgusting.
dude, they got no. It's beautiful. Don't get me wrong, but the thing that kills them is smog.
Yeah, Beijing, it's like full of smog. And actually, like, I read somewhere that like 70% of the air pollution in San Francisco is from China. That means that it travels all the way across the Pacific Ocean, like the largest ocean in the world, and it reaches San Francisco. I think that's crazy.
And like that's not even speaking with pollution. That's not even talking about how the giant island-sized trash waste in the middle of the ocean that we don't see.
Garbage Island.
Garbage Island. They made a movie about that. The
Did
clay
they?
movie. Yeah,
I
remember
heard
the
about
dog movie?
The dog movie?
It was a clay movie, like a still action movie or
like
something.
Are you talking about
Claymation.
Yeah, I don't know.
It was
I don't
about
know.
dog movie in China. And it's like the Lost Island of Dogs or something like that.
I don't know.
But they basically they send all the stray dogs to like Trash Island, and he's trying to get back to his owner, the dog, and it's a good movie in my opinion.
Yeah. My friend, who actually goes to Harvard now, he went to China a couple times, and every time that he got there, he went to Beijing. He would throw up the first couple of days just because the air quality, like, compared to here, is just so terrible. It would just, like, mess up his entire system and make him absolutely nauseous.
See, there's two different types of air quality. There's one, in my opinion, where it's extremely good, extremely bad. But it's funny because you could go there, and air is such an important thing because you could go there and you could like ruin your lungs by just inhaling the smog there. But then you could go to somewhere like the Alps or like high up in Colombia, like Bogota, for example. And if you breathe there, the air's thinner there, so your lungs get used to using less air. So when you go to somewhere like, for example, Massachusetts, the air is more abundant, so your lungs don't need it. And like that's what most marathon runners do actually,
Yeah.
so they can run longer distance with less oxygen.
Yeah, is there, like, less oxygen when it comes to, like, higher places?
Yeah,
I think it's because of,
thinner.
like, trees, too. Like, because trees produce...
No,
it is, because trees produce oxygen.
It's not that. It's the higher you get up, the more pressure builds up within.
Oh, yeah, it's that, too.
The oxygen gets more condensed and like pressurized.
Yeah.
But it's not the trees. Because trust me, they have
It's the
trees. up-
trees.
It's the trees. It's like one solution. How to end not global warming. How to what's it? Is it global warming? Like
Global climate change.
Global climate change.
Places getting warmer, places getting
Plant
colder.
one tree. Everyone plant
Yeah.
one tree. Solution. Bam. Done.
Yeah, or at least when you cut down a tree, like, plant one or two. Like, that's the right thing to do.
So many trees got torn up this week because of the storm. We had a storm here. So many trees got unrooted.
Oh, yeah. Saw a huge branch on one of my neighbor's lawns walking to the train this morning, just from the wind. Like, wait till, like in a couple months when, like, the big it's not hurricanes, like, snowstorms, like, nor'easters come in. It's gonna be a lot of damage.
I legit saw one whole street where there was at least 5 trees just completely unrooted and knocked down
Oh, yeah.
by the wind.
Winds can be terrible here. There'd be, like, trees, like, blocking streets and stuff where I live. I live in, like, a suburb of the city of Boston, but, yeah, it's crazy around here.
Especially, the thing with Boston is, I don't want to say wind high points, but here, because there's so many high buildings, when the wind goes through, it's kind of like saying if you had a maze and you flooded it with water. It will all meet up in one point in the middle.
Yeah.
That's what the thing with Boston. All the wind will come in and it will like circulate and have high pressure points where it's going to be like way
Yeah,
high.
the tall buildings, like, channel the wind, like, through the streets.
A wind
That's
channel,
kinda-
that's
it's
it.
the wind channel. It's like similar to the maze thing. Just the wind, it just travels
That's it, the
all
wind
around the
channel.
buildings and through the streets. That's why if you're walking like in the streets in the city of Boston, you're pretty likely to encounter some wind, especially this time of year. Lucas knows that for a fact. He's been cold all day.
Yeah,
We're get-
it's been pretty rough out there. I wore shorts thinking that I would survive, but no.
Alright,
Shorts guy.
we're getting to the end of the podcast. Usually I have like some inspirational memory, quote, short story, something like that. But no, I feel like today, instead of like doing something that could be a little sad, a little happy, just end like a funny story. So I'm pretty good at like not getting sick and not getting stuff like that, or even getting bitten by anything. Even though I'm not even gonna go on that. But for example, I've never been stung by a bee till the last day of summer this year in 2019.
How did it feel?
Well, the thing is, though, it was weird because I was on a date with my girlfriend, and we went to get breakfast. And we're eating breakfast and everything, and I'm just sitting down minding my own business. And because I do airsoft, I feel like right on my chest, like the middle of my chest. I don't know if we can say that word. That like, can you say
What word?
like? can we say-
Nipple?
Yeah, is nipple like a bad word?
It's a part of the body.
I don't know. You can say much worse things than nipple, dude.
Okay. Well, I got stung directly in the middle of it. And for my first thing, so honestly, I went into PTSD mode, I'm not gonna lie, because when I got hit with it, I felt I got hit with an airsoft gun. So legit, I flinch up and like I duck because I thought someone shot me. And I'm like looking left and right, like what just happened? And then I squeeze like where it is and I crush the wasp in my shirt. But legit, I see a wasp come down and I'm like, oh my god, and my girlfriend looked at me, she's like, what's up? He's like, I got stung by a bee. And she just starts dying laughing because the first time I get stung by a bee, it's not in the words, not punching a bee hive or something. It's me in a small diner restaurant sitting down. And to explain that to the waiter is a whole nother ordeal. Like she comes up and is like, why are you holding your nipple? And I'm like, can I get ice? It's like, for your nipple? I'm like, yeah. It's like, why are you holding it? And I'm like, well, I got stung by a bee. It's like, no, you didn't. God. Like, how do I explain I got stung by a bee without and then I lift up my shirt, it's like, oh, you got stung on bee. And then she looks at it, she pauses and stares at it, it's like, oh, that's right on there. And I'm like, yeah. So then that was a ordeal, and I'm just sitting there with an ice cube on it, just chilling, and everyone just looking at me like I became a celebrity for like 5 minutes. Everyone was looking at me like asking, are you okay? Oh, can we get a photo? Like, I'm the nipple bee guy apparently now.
Nipple bee.
So that's the last thought of the podcast. Thank you for everyone tuning in to Floor 9 Podcast. I appreciate everything. And you guys have a good one and be safe.
See you later, guys.